Channel Islands, America's Galapagos. Nobody talks about. 60 miles off the coast of Los Angeles, there are 5 islands that most Californians have never visited. Not 5 miles. 60. Close enough to see from the Malibu shoreline on a clear winter morning. Close enough that on certain nights, the lights of Santa Barbara are visible from the northern shore of Santa Cruz Island, looking back toward the mainland. Close enough that the entire archipelago sits within the boundaries of one of the most densely populated regions in the United States. And yet, in a state of 40 million people, a state that receives more domestic tourists annually than any other, these 5 islands together attract fewer than 40,000 visitors per year. 40,000 for an entire national park. In California, Yellowstone, on a busy summer weekend, processes that number in 72 hours. The Channel Islands are not remote in any geographical sense. They are remote in the way that things directly in front of us become invisible, overlooked not because they are hard to reach, but because nobody told us to look. Evolving, in isolation, on their own terms. This is the story of the American Galapagos, and why almost nobody knows it exists. The isolation, speciation. The Channel Islands have been separated from the California mainland for approximately 10,000 years. That separation, produced by rising sea levels at the end of the last ice age, did not simply create islands. It created laboratories. Isolated populations of plants and animals, cut off from mainland gene pools, began diverging, adapting, producing forms found nowhere else on Earth. The island scrub jay exists on Santa Cruz Island and nowhere else on Earth. Not on the other 4 Channel Islands. Not on the mainland 60 miles away. On one island, in one archipelago, in one national park that 40,000 people visit per year. It is genetically distinct from its mainland relatives in ways that ornithologists estimate required approximately 150,000 years of isolation to produce. The logistics. A&D what they protect. To reach the park, visitors must book passage on a concession boat departing from Ventura or Oxnard on the mainland and cross a channel that is, depending on the season, either glassy and calm or actively hostile. The crossing takes between 1 hour and 3, depending on the destination island. The boats run on limited schedules. There is no other way in. This single logistical barrier eliminates the category of casual visitor almost entirely. The people who arrive at Channel Islands have planned their trip. They have booked in advance. They have crossed open water to get there. On a busy summer weekend at Santa Cruz Island, the largest and most visited, a visitor might encounter 50 other people across 30 miles of trail. 50. In a national park. In California, in July. The logistical barrier is not a flaw in the park's accessibility. It is, in practical terms, the most effective wilderness preservation mechanism in the entire national park system. San Miguel A&D the pinnipeds. San Miguel Island sits at the western end of the archipelago, exposed to the full force of the Pacific. Fog covers it for the majority of the year. Wind strips the exposed ridgelines with a consistency that has sculpted the vegetation into shapes that look almost architectural. And yet, on the beaches of San Miguel, something happens that has no equivalent anywhere else on the western coastline of North America. Up to 30,000 pinnipeds, seals, and sea lions haul out on Point Bennett, a sandy spit at the island's western tip, during peak season. 6 species. In the same location. Simultaneously, California sea lions, stellar sea lions, northern elephant seals, Pacific harbor seals, northern fur seals, and Guadalupe fur seals. 6 pinniped species in a single location is, globally, exceptional. Most pinniped aggregation sites in the world host 1 or 2. Point Bennett hosts 6, because the Channel Islands sit at a biogeographic crossroads, the convergence zone between cold northern Pacific water and warmer southern California. Current, that draws species from both systems simultaneously. The northern elephant seal population, once reduced to fewer than 100 individuals, now exceeds 170,000. Males can reach 16 feet and weigh over 4,000 pounds. Much of this recovery occurred on these remote beaches, visited by relatively few people. The kelp forest. The Channel Islands National Marine Sanctuary protects 1,400 square miles of ocean. Surrounding the islands, home to kelp forests that are among the most complex and productive marine ecosystems on Earth. Giant kelp grows at rates of up to 2 feet per day under optimal conditions. Individual plants reach heights of 150 feet, their canopy forming a continuous ceiling of amber light at the ocean surface. The kelp forest creates a three-dimensional habitat structure that supports over 1,000 species of marine life. But the kelp forests are under pressure. The sunflower sea star, one of the primary predators of sea urchins, was decimated by a wasting disease that began in 2013 and removed an estimated 90% of the species from the Pacific coast. Without sea stars to control them, urchin populations exploded. Urchins graze on the holdfasts of kelp plants, severing them from the seafloor. The result in affected areas is urchin barrens, rocky seabeds stripped of their kelp canopy, supporting a fraction of the species diversity of a healthy forest. Restoring sea star populations, and with them, the urchin control that keeps the forest intact, is now one of the central conservation challenges on the California coast. Much of the research happening here is happening because the sanctuary's relative isolation makes baseline monitoring possible. The human history. Humans have lived on the Channel Islands for over 13,000 years. The earliest known presence, Arlington Springs woman, discovered on Santa Rosa Island, is among the oldest evidence of human habitation in North America. At the time of her life, the 4 northern islands were connected by lower sea levels into a single larger landmass called Santa Rosa. The crossing from the mainland, even then, required watercraft. These were maritime people. The Chumash people inhabited the Channel Islands for thousands of years before Spanish contact, fishing the surrounding waters and trading with mainland communities across a channel. They navigated in tomal plank canoes, constructed from redwood driftwood, sealed with natural tar from the same oil seeps that still bubble up along the Santa Barbara coastline today. Over 2,000 archaeological sites have been documented across the 5 islands. Middens, shell, deposits that function as stratigraphic records of diet, trade, and seasonal occupation have been excavated to depths representing continuous occupation, spanning thousands of years. The archaeological record of the Channel Islands is not a footnote to California history. It is some of the oldest and most detailed evidence of maritime culture in North American prehistory. Almost nobody visits it, because almost nobody crosses the water to get here. The island fox. The island fox is the smallest fox in North America, found only on 6 of the Channel Islands. Descended from mainland gray foxes that crossed to the islands thousands of years ago, isolated populations on each island evolved separately, creating distinct subspecies, each genetically unique. By 2000, several of those subspecies were in collapse. The mechanism was indirect. Bald eagles, which had historically nested on the islands, were eliminated in the mid-20th century by debt contamination in the marine food chain. Their absence opened a niche. Golden eagles moved in. Unlike bald eagles, which hunt fish, golden eagles hunt mammals. Island foxes had evolved with no ground predators. They had no instinct to hide from the sky. Population numbers dropped to critical levels. On San Miguel Island, fewer than 15 individuals remained. The response was one of the most complex wildlife interventions in national park history. Golden eagles were live trapped and relocated to the mainland. Bald eagles were reintroduced. Feral pigs, which had provided a year-round prey base that had attracted the golden eagles in the first place, were removed from the affected islands. Island foxes were brought into captive breeding programs. By 2016, 4 of the 6 island fox subspecies had recovered sufficiently to be removed from the endangered species list. It was the fastest recovery of any mammal under the Endangered Species Act. Today, island foxes roam the trails freely. They approach hikers without hesitation. They have no learned fear of humans, and, now that the golden eagles are gone, no reason to acquire one. Channel Islands is not a secret because it is hard to reach. It is a secret because no one told you to go. You have now been told. If this changed how you see California's coastline, the guide link in the description has everything you need to actually go. Boat schedules, island comparisons, the camping permit system, the dive operator list, and the seasonal windows when the wildlife is at its most concentrated. The boats leave from Ventura. Click the link below to get started.